UNLAD Pilipinas.
Mr. Secretary, palagi po nating binabandera itong Build program.
Yes.
How does this, what's the importance of this in the last 3 remaining years of the President?
Well, napaka-importante dahil ito na yung pinaka-ambitious na infrastructure program sa history ng ating bansa. Kaya ito po yung master plan ng ating Pangulo. Nakikita naman natin na marami po tayong problema sa bansa na related sa infrastructure, katulad ng traffic at yung baha. Kaya importante po na mag-invest tayo sa infrastructure. So, in the next 3 years, marami po kasi mga big-ticket projects that will be online in the next 3 years. So, we're excited kaming lahat na maramdaman ng ating mga kababayan ang improvement sa daily lives nila.
Hindi ba tayo kakapusin yan? 3 taon na lang. And dami-daming dapat kailangan tapusin.
Hindi tayo kakapusin dahil ito planado na. Nakalatag na po ang mga projects at for the past 3 years talagang meron na po tayo na-deliver na project. Pero marami din mga big-ticket projects na nakaschedule talaga na tapusin by 2020, 2021, and before the term of the President sa 2022. So, ito na talagang time na makikita natin yung mga big-ticket projects, mararamdaman natin effect nila, and we'll see the effects of the Build program and feel also.
Okay, so what's the status now of these big-ticket projects? Ano ang dapat asahan ng mga tao?
Well, una po, pag-usapan po natin ang traffic decongestion. Dahil napakalaki ang loss natin. Hindi lang dito sa Metro Manila, pati sa buong bansa. So, kinuwento ko po yung Luzon Spine Expressway. Kasi yung para at least madoble ang length ng expressway network natin sa Luzon. At gumagawa din kami ng plano para sa expressway network sa Cebu at sa Davao. So, itong expressway natin, as of now, galing po ako sa Skyway para makonect yung NLEX, SLEX. At pag natapos po yung connection na yan, from yung SLEX, itutuloy natin hanggang Quezon and eventually hanggang Bicol. Yung NLEX naman, this year tatapusin natin yung Rosario exit and then sisimulan na yung extension to San Fernando. Pag natapos po itong Luzon Spine Expressway, ang travel time from Bicol to La Union will be cut from 18 to 9 hours.
Paano na po itong build? It seems that, sabi kasi nila, we are really lagging behind sa Southeast Asian countries. Now that it's being in place, ano sa tingin mo ang pinaka-asahan sa DPWH?
Ito po, nararamdaman kasi ni Pangulo ang hirap ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa traffic. Araw-araw po, hirap na hirap ang ating mga kababayan dahil hindi nakakauwi na maaga. So, kaya naging priority po ang build para masolusyonan itong mga problema na napakatagal na sa ating bansa.
But where are we in the ranking sa Southeast Asian countries?
Well, in terms of infrastructure spending, hindi pa tayo lumalampas sa 3%. Never pa tayo lumampas sa 3%, which is very low. Dahil yung mga rapidly developing countries sa Asia, ang gastos nila sa infrastructure umaabot ng 8%. As high as 8%. So yun ang standard. Tayo hanggang 2 to 3% lang ang Pilipinas. Ngayon po, this year, umabot na tayo ng 5%. So at least yung infrastructure spending is makikita natin mas aggressive tayo sa infrastructure spending. And sa akin hindi naman yan spending dahil investment yan. May return po. Pag nabawasan po ang traffic, in fact, kino-compute namin yung return. Pag gumagawa kami ng project para hindi sayang po ang pera ng ating mga kababayan, gumagawa kami ng study and may minimum yung rate of return ng proyekto, kailangan lumampas sa 10%.
Sir, gusto kasi marinig ng mga tao yung pagbibida nyo sa mga skyway, sa mga malalaking bridges. Give us these big tickets. Explain how you're going to go about it. Ano ang aasahan ng mga tao na maging impact nito sa buhay ng bawat isa?
Well, simulan po natin dito sa Metro Manila where we lose 3 billion pesos a day in traffic. Itong ginagawa namin, halimbawa, yung EDSA. we need a solution to EDSA, which is the symbol of traffic in the country. So ngayon po, it's obviously it's congested. We need our goal is to take at least 200,000 cars off EDSA. Magawa kami ng Skyway. Ang expectation po namin is up to 100,000. Skyway pa lang. Gagawa po tayo ng connector. Yung Skyway, we hope to deliver it substantially by this year. Yung connector sa 2021. So yung connector, expectation namin 50,000. Dagdagan nyo po yung mga bridges, yung Santa Monica Loton, yung Estrella Pantaleon, makabawas din yan. Our expectation, each bridge, 30 to 50,000. So, and then on top of that, meron pa kaming C6. So, that's going to Quezon City, also from the SLEX. So, these projects, kung i-combine mo yung effect nila, madidi-congest talaga ang EDSA. So, that's how ambitious the infrastructure programs. Now, meron din tayong mega bridge program. The longest bridge to date in the Philippines is 2 kilometers, yung San Juanico. Yun ang bridge ni President Marcos, ginawa ni President Marcos. Now, we'll be building a bridge in Mindanao that's 3.7 kilometers, also the longest bridge. But after that, meron na kaming
which is the
Pangil Bay Bridge. And after that, yung Panay Guimaras Negros Bridge, which is the feasibilities, the full-blown FS will be finished this year. And we'll be able to procure it maybe early at some point next year.
But do you believe, yung sinasabi nila, 5 minutes na lang sabi ng Presidente, Cubao to Makati, how are we going to go about, what's the coordination?
Well, Cubao and Quezon City and Makati area is from pag natapos po yung Skyway, that's a few yung from Bendia to Aurora, it's only a few 4 kilometers.
So ipagasa ba to? Baka makukuha ang 5 minutes, sir?
Kayang-kaya. Kaya confident naman ako. Alam mo po, itong mga commitments ni President is based on hard infrastructure projects. Hindi lang, syempre, ganun, that's why excited kaming lahat eh. Dahil pag natapos po itong projects, ibang-iba po ang...
You are excited, but aren't you so pressured na pag sinabi ni President, ganito, ganyan-ganyan, meron akong targets, you're so young, and sasabi, kaya ba ito ni Secretary?
Well,
paano kayo pressure sa bilis ni Presidente?
Well, there can be no movement without pressure. Diba? So, I think tama lang yung pressure na ni Presidente, and that's a sign of good management. You have to apply pressure. Of course, not to the breaking point, but you have to apply just enough pressure to make sure na mabilis yung implementation ng mga projects. And that's what's happening now. Some of these projects have been, yung iba po, natenga ng matagal. So, it's only now na bumibilis ng implementation, yung acquisition ng right-of-way. That's why you see in the next year, ang daming projects. And these are, hindi lang po, yung mga projects, hindi po yung mga maliliit. Ito mga game-changing projects.
But we have the best engineers in town. Kompleto ba tayo ng mga construction workers? Kasi nagpupuntahan sa ibang bansa. Aren't you worried about that?
Ako naman, marami po tayong mga qualified na professionals. Yung iba nasa abroad. So kung babalik sila, kung magkakaroon sila ng opportunity dito sa Pilipinas, sa tingin ko, that's improvement yan. At least nakakaroon sila ng opportunities, babalik na ang ating mga kababayan. And the fact that we have this infrastructure, that means they'll have more jobs to offer. So sa akin naman, makikita nyo naman sa latest statistics, mas mababa yung unemployment rate natin. And I think that's a direct result of the policies of the President. Our poverty is the lowest it's ever been. Ang laki ng pagbawas ng poverty sa atin. So all these put together, you can see na maganda po yung direction ng Pilipinas.
Are you not handing down important policies down to the engineering districts? Ano nang pagkakaiba? Anong pagbabagong dapat gawin para sa mga engineers natin down the field?
Well, ang ginawa po namin is, una, inaugment po namin yung personnel sa DPWH. Of course, we saw that there were holes. Halimbawa po, yung sa legal department. Dati po, napakaliit ng legal department sa mga region. So, hirap din sila sa right-of-way. Nung ginawa namin, nag-request kami ng additional lawyers to handle the additional volume. So, yun, malaking bagay po yung dagdag ng mga personnel. At the same time, nagkaroon po tayo ng mga task forces for all the flagship projects. Kaya nagkaroon ng accountability. At isa sa pinakamalaking changes sa DPWH is yung PCMA system. So now, for the first time, under the President's term, nagkaroon po ng computerized monitoring system for all projects. Because the DPWH is 20,000 projects simultaneously. Napakalaki po ng budget at napakarami pong projects na kailangan i-monitor. So, these are the changes that we made to increase the efficiency. And the efficiency is increased with the highest ever obligation rate, 93%. Even the disbursement rate, the highest, almost 80%.
Are we not hiring more engineers? How many workers do we expect na makatrabaho for this next 3 years?
If you compute based on the volume of our projects, you can expect million, abot din ng million ng mga directly and indirectly.
Okay.
So, and then there's also a lot of, syempre pag nakaroon po tayo ng infra, makakaroon pa ng investment sa atin.
Correct.
So, there's also a multiplier effect. So, the effect, and I think we're already seeing the beginning because we see the poverty level declining, we see the unemployment declining, and this is just the initial phases of the Build Bid. I think during the second half, we'll see larger improvements in all economic data.
In the past months, there are questions as to tama ba itong proyekto ng DPWH? Like for example, tinuturo ni Congressman Andaya noon na bakit merong flood control project sa mga lugar na wala namang bahain? How do you go about this is the right projects for this particular place?
Well, there's really a system. We have a road monitoring system where pag depending sa age of road, it will be automatic. Yung allocation sa amin. Yung isusubmit namin, yung sinusubmit namin sa Congress is goes through a process of vetting. The projects that we put there go through the Regional Development Council. They go through our in-house system. So we really do our best to make sure that the projects are the resources of government are placed in projects that are the most needed. Kaya nga po pag sa big ticket, dinadaan muna namin sa NEDA. Gumagawa kami ng analysis. Ano bang economic rate of return ng project? So kung hindi siya aabot sa minimum standard namin, hindi na namin itutuloy. So may proseso po talaga ang project.
Sir, meron pong ibinaba ang COA in the past that marami daw tayong delays, marami ding mga na-suspend, na-terminate. Can you give us ano itong mga reasons behind bakit may mga ganitong mga reports?
Well, you have to look at it percentage-wise. Kasi when you say there are some delays, well, many is relative. As a percentage, of course, hindi naman mapa-perfect. When you're dealing with 20,000 projects, hindi naman lahat mapa-perfect. And when you're saying in terms of disbursement, means I remember sinight nila yung disbursement rate. Yung mga projects kasi namin, hindi naman 1 year ang timetable nila. Minsan may mga projects na naka-identify for 2 years. May mga projects na almost 3 years. So hindi naman, so when you say na hindi na-disperse lahat, may 2 year in 1 year, mayroon talagang projects na hindi mo ma-disperse dahil ang timeline niya is 2 years. So these are, na-explain naman yan. Those were just findings that we explained and we explained sufficiently. Ang masasabi ko lang, under the term of President Duterte, we have achieved the highest by far rate of obligation and the highest rate of disbursement in the history of the department. So that's a fact. I'm not saying, hindi ko naman sinasabi na perfect lahat. At sa 20,000 projects, makakaroon talaga ng problema. And we welcome that. Siyempre, nakakaroon, but we're doing our best to resolve them. And what I can promise is major improvements every year.
Problema ba talaga ang road right-of-way?
Problema, pero kaya naman. Kasi it's a matter of allocation of resources.
Paano ito
Kasi may sistema naman talaga.
Proyekto?
Kasi meron naman talagang eminent domain naman ng gobyerno. So it's just a matter of having the infrastructure to implement what is provided for in the law.
So marami talaga, sir? You've been to expropriation proceedings and all?
Yes, and I think not me personally, but of course, we have some projects, example, nung pumasok kami, minsan 7% lang ng right of way nakuha. Nung nag-form kami ng task force, in the same amount of time na nakuha nila yung 7%, nakuha namin yung buong 100%. And that's a matter of simple management and accountability. And of course, we requested for additional lawyers, additional personnel, because of the additional budget, kailangan din ng additional resources to manage the number of projects. So we're very systematic and efficient. That's what we're striving for.
We see Secretary Villar as a man of integrity, malinis, bata, fresh. And then, in the past kasi nagsusulputan itong mga anomalya, yung mga sinasabi na favoritism, favor contractors, and all the shit. How do you ensure, sir, that hindi madumihan ang mga proyekto sa inyong pamamahala?
Well, una, marami din kaming tools para mabawasan po ang discretion. Siyempre, pag may discretion ka, may makakaroon ng temptation.
Discretion dun sa regional levels?
In general. Kasi when you have a system of monitoring, that's and a system of allocating projects, that leaves very little discretion. So it's more, mawawala rin yung corruption, mababawasan yung corruption. Because it's automatic eh. Wala nang say kung saan ilalagay yung, hindi na ilalagay sa mga undeserving projects dahil nasa sistema na yun eh. Pag 5 years na yung road, ganito ang dapat gawin, ito yung dapat ilagay. And then and with the monitoring, lahat ng projects naka-geotag, which is yung pipicturean yung project at yung location ng picture is monitored by satellite. So nakalagay yan sa geotagging. So hindi na pwedeng i-fake yung picture.
Correct.
Kung saan kinuha yung... So, namomonitor namin lahat ng projects via the computer. So, isang pindot lang, makikita na yung project, ano yung latest picture, kung delayed siya. And using that system, we've already blacklisted 16 contractors.
Wow.
16.
Have there been any findings na in cahoots with some of the DPWH engineers?
Well, our basis kasi for blacklisting is what we call the slippage. So, we give them a chance. Binibigyan naman namin ng pagkakataon na humabol sa target. Pero kung hindi talaga, hindi nila ma-implement yung catch-up plan nila, we have no choice but to cancel the project and automatic blacklisting. And in fact, some of the contractors that we blacklisted were top 10 contractors.
Marami na talaga na-cancel, sir?
Marami, especially relative to in the past. Kami po yung pinakamabilis sa blacklist. Kami po yung pinakamaraming na blacklist.
Can we say, sir, that gone are the days na may mga favored contractors, na may mga lagay-lagayan sa DPWH?
Well, I'm not saying hindi naman perfect yung sistema, but I definitely zero ang tolerance namin sa ganung bagay. And we have been very strict about corruption. As per our president is committed to stopping that, and we're committed to creating a system where corruption is not tolerated.
Sa mga probinsya, talagang palaging pangarap na sana itong daan namin masemento. At ang daming pangarap ng mga maliit na tao sa mga probinsya. Sir, gusto ni Presidente na madigay lahat ito. As the Secretary of DPWH, do you have some good news to these people who are watching right now?
Ang dami. Kasi ito pong proyekto namin is nationwide. Meron po tayong master plan sa lahat ng regions magkakaroon ng master plan big ticket projects. We have the Mindanao Road Network as far as Zamboanga, conflict-affected areas, the road network there, flood control in all regions. Sa dami rin ng mga projects. I'm sure nararamdaman na ng ating mga kababayan itong road widenings na ginagawa namin sa traffic, itong bridges. It's unprecedented in the history of our country. And I think kung pupunta ka sa countryside, makikita mo talaga halos lahat ng roads may construction.
Makita namin yan.
Anywhere you go, may construction.
Kay Presidente Duterte ba talaga yan? Or dati na talaga nakaplano sa DPWH na you're just continuing it?
We will continue what needs to be continued. Maraming mga projects na natenga at hindi natapos. And kami naman, hindi importante sa amin yung credit o yung politika. Kung makakatulong sa ating mga kababayan at we will finish it even faster. So, I think that's a good trademark of this administration. Hindi naman dahil project ng nakaraan, ika-cancel na lang, hindi na lang itutuloy. Kami naman, wala kami, basta importante sa kung makakatulong, tatapusin namin yan even faster.
We just want to clarify this, sir. Yung budget ng Build comes from JICA and other loans, correct?
No, there's a portion, most of the funding comes from, of course, locally funded.
Correct.
There's a portion that comes from grant, and there's a portion that comes from loan. Now, it's not, the borrowing is limited to 20%. So, most of it is still, most of our budget is still internally sourced.
And syempre, bigyan natin ng credit sa Presidente kasi may chain law and the syntax law na mapupunta talaga dun sa mga ano. Paano nyo i-describe yung ano ni Presidente para matuloy talaga itong Build? Up to the extent maghanap talaga siya ng paraan.
I think the President, what you can see, what's happening now is an effect of his political will. Napakalakas ng political will ng ating Pangulo. And he's very strategic sa sa mga partnerships natin sa China, sa Japan. Ang laki ng assistance nila sa bansa. Napakalaking bagay.
How much?
Well, it runs into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
For DPWH infrastructure.
Just for the DPWH alone. Dahil dito po sa Metro Manila, nag-donate po sila ng 2 bridges worth $100 million. Hindi pa kasama yung assistance nila nung nagkaroon ng problema sa Marawi. Magbibigay pa sila ng bridge sa Mindanao. So, and that's just China. Nagbigay din ng Japan. So he's been very strategic about his friend, the enemy to none, friend to all. And I think that's been a big boost to our economy. And at the same time, itong vision niya for the Build program, I think it's a first of its kind in the country. Kaya napaka-exciting. It's the first time something of this scale has ever been conceptualized. I think of this scale, 6% to 7% infrastructure spending, and we will see the improvement in the lives of our people once we will start feeling the improvement of the lives of our people during this administration.
Ilan taon na rin po kayo naging secretary? Have there been any instance, sir, na may nababribe sa inyo? Yung lagay under the table para makuha yung project? Has there been? Can you tell us?
Well, I think I don't want to be the one to say good thing, but ako naman, I think people would know, and you can ask anyone. They know naman na hindi ako pwedeng lapitan. So wala namang lumalapit sa akin.
Talaga, sir?
Okay, kasi...
Ba't hindi kayo pwedeng malapitan?
With regards to yung mga bribes or anything, alam naman ng mga tao na wala naman akong interest sa ganung bagay. Kaya ako naman, when it comes to things like that, zero tolerance ako. Sa akin lang, for me, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to work with an administration that I believe will go down in history as one of the most important administrations in our country. And I think para sa akin, this is a turning point in our country's history. Kasi ngayon na nagkaroon ng ganitong programa. At the same time, yung GDP growth, we can see a sustained increase in the quality of life. Kasi next year, we've already been promoted to upper middle class. So we're on our way to become a developed nation, much like our Southeast Asian neighbors. So that's a very exciting one. And for me, it's a turning point, and to be a part of that turning point there's no walang katapat yun. And for me, that kind of fulfillment is what I'm after.
There have been a lot of projects mentioned, DOTC, other agencies. How do you coordinate? Saan papasok ang DPWH?
Napakaganda ng teamwork namin sa Build with SecArt, SecSani, the sector.
Who's really involved in the Build?
Well, I think right now we have the DOF, the NEDA, the DBM, DPWH, and BCDA also. Executive Secretary. So we're working together to make sure that from budgeting to analysis of the project to actual implementation, even the funding. So kompleto na kami dun. So from all aspects of the project, we're working together as a team. And in fact, over the years, we've become very close. Parang pamilya na kami sa build. Kasi mahirap talaga yung implementation, ang daming challenges, but definitely we serve as each other's support
and because of desire and yung eagerness ng mga LGUs na sila din kailangan maraming project, are you feeling now na parang pinuputakte ka ng mga requests and all? How do you respond to that?
Well, we're just systematic. Hindi naman yan mawawala. Marami talagang magre-request, and rightfully so, because
Pinagbibigyan niyo po?
Well, of course, if there's a kung may request at meritorious naman yung request, why not? Kasi I mean, if we see that it's a good project,
can they request after that?
Of course, anyone can request. You can request. Anyone can request from us. And if we'll do our studies, and if the project is meritorious, we can implement it. We can propose that it be included in the budget.
Sir, in a short explanation, we have this 100 million project.
Okay.
Paano ba ang proseso hanggang sa matapos? Tell us.
Okay. Well, let's say makaroon ng project, we have to go through to begin with, you have to create the program of works. And then once you've conceptualized the project and you have a program, dadaan mo muna sa, of course, the stakeholders, the Regional Development Council. Depending on the size of the project, kailangan kung malaki yung project, dadaan muna sa NEDA. And if they give the approval, then we can propose it to the DBM for funding. And when it's funded, paglabas ng budget, we go through the procurement process, advertising, and then that goes. And then after that, after we've awarded the project, we go to implementation. Simple as that. If it's a foreign-funded project, we still have to negotiate the terms of the loan. That's a part of the process. So it really depends, but more or less that's the process.
And the most important thing is you follow the procedures. Hindi common na secretary dito is ako na masusunod. There are things that should be done.
It's important to maintain the professional. Importante sa akin na ma-maintain yung professionalism ng department. Dapat wala talagang exemption. It has to go through the system. And if we have to create a system that is efficient, and we have to respect the system and uphold it.
Anong kailangan malaman ng mga tao sa bayan ng Pilipino para sa flood control projects sa buong bansa?
We have embankment projects that are designed to minimize the effects of flooding. But of course, over the years, as our population grows, makakaroon talaga ng problem. But I think marami na po tayong mga master plans in all regions, in all the major flood basins.
Papalakasin pa ba, sir, because of this climate change and all floodings and everything?
That's why we're investing. Kasama po yan sa Build. In fact, recently, I mentioned about our plan for evacuation centers across the country. At the same time, yung mga flood control will be going to Cagayan for the Tagoloan, for their new flood control projects, which will come online. Even in Cavite, we have preference for big ticket projects.
So that should be prioritized.
Yes, we want game changing. We want to affect a larger amount of people. So you'll see in all regions, we really went out of our way to create a flood control program per region, per major river basin.
What about kasi sabi nila, napakarami pang mga school buildings sa kulang. What's your take on that?
Well, I think,
ang dapat malaman ng mga
again, our budget's one of the largest. We've built about 70,000 school buildings. Classrooms.
Last year?
Over the past few years.
And what to expect pa?
And we expect more. And we've been very efficient with
ilan pang school buildings and how much is being...
depend. Well, definitely hundreds of billions from the DepEd that have been downloaded to us. Last year, we were able to obligate almost 100% of the building. So I think we've been very efficient about our procurement process. So gumaganda na, and slowly we're improving on the process of coordination of the DepEd. So we can expect that there are many challenges, but definitely major improvements in the realm of education.
Irrigation systems, sir.
Well, that's under NIA.
Okay. Walang ano doon ang DPWH?
Hindi it's irrigation and flood control.
Okay. Farm to market roads, because usually the clamor of people in the
Of course, usually yung mga farm to market, ina-identify ng DA.
Wala na ba tayo yung parang i-rehabilitate lang?
Malaki ang budget ng DA for
yung
farm to market.
grabagrabahan lang or cemented talaga?
But ang gusto namin, yung farm to market is the same standard as the DPWH. So that's what we're working on now, na magkaroon ng fixed standards in terms of thickness.
Kasi sir, napakaraming mga daan na okay pa naman, binubungkal, tapos nila pa, what's the logic behind?
Depending on the circumstance. Kasi minsan yung water district, sila rin ang bubungkal. Minsan sa amin, I don't know kung depende rin na it could be that may crack. Not all damage is visible to the eye. I don't know. It's a case-to-case basis. Pero in general ako, nagagalit ako pag may nagre-report sa akin na medyo bago pa yung kalye at for some reason binubungkal yung kalye at hindi ko ma-explain. Kaya kung hindi ma-explain yan, magagalit talaga ako. Hindi ako papayag.
Okay. Sir, UNLAD Pilipinas is a PTV4 daily program, 1 hour, which will really document and feature the success stories of our infra projects, its impact to the community. As DPW Secretary, how's your reaction or anong masasabi niyo dito sa programang i-air na to? Araw-araw na mapapakita ng lahat ng kaunlaran.
Actually, natutuwa po ako na nagkaroon ng programa para sa atin infrastruktura dahil sa dami po ng infrastructure projects, hindi ko rin kaya ikwento lahat sa isang araw.
Okay.
So every month, sa isang region, imagine, 20,000 projects. Isang region pa lang, baka sa...
But do we need to really...
I think there's a need to know, for the people to know the extent of the President's program.
Why?
To know kung ano yung mga projects na malapit na matapos, kung ano magiging effect.
Okay.
It's important to communicate that to people. One, so they know na ito yung project at pwede mo nang gamitin. At the same time, it's important for everyone to know that this that their taxpayers' money dito na pupunta. At least they can see that the government is a working government. And they feel good about what's happening, even for investors, even for businessmen. Makikita nila na ang gobyerno ngayon is a working government and it's very aggressive in its implementation and very visionary in its conceptualization of projects.
By year 2030, what we expect from the foundation that you lay down these days, ano ang Pilipinas?
Karamihan po ng mga projects namin ay matatapos sa 2022. But that being said, we've already built a pipeline of projects. Nung pumasok po kami, malit lang yung pipeline ng projects. Kaya gumawa pa kami ng feasibility study, gumawa pa kami ng detailed engineering design. So, yung delivery ng mga projects, umabot pa, it was scheduled for 2020, 2021, 2022. But nung pumasok kami, kung marami nang nakapilang project, mas mabilis sana yung implementation. Kasi we didn't have, but now, we've created a pipeline that's almost 20 times as large as the pipeline that we inherited nung pumasok kami. So definitely, itong program is well positioned to continue even beyond the term of the president. So kasama na po yan sa plano natin kasi doon mo makikita yung vision ng ating Pangulo. And he's not thinking just this administration, but even yung work na ginawa namin ngayon will also benefit the next administration.
May we hear from you, Secretary, that UNLAD Pilipinas, a program of PTV4, is welcome and medyo para maging partner sa mga
Yes, kami po, buo pong suporta namin sa UNLAD Pilipinas. Napakagandang programa. Dapat para makarating po sa ating mga kababayan ang mga proyekto ng DPWH, DOTR at ang Build program ng ating Pangulo. Kaya abangan nyo po and kami naman po susuportahan namin at dadalhin po namin yung information sa mga projects sa programa. And ito po ang forum para makita nyo po ang Build program ng ating ni Pangulong Duterte.
Panguli po, sir, mensahe po sa sambayan ng Pilipinas with regards to what you're doing right now. Napakarami, napaka-busy, and hanggang kailan ito, hanggang saan matatapos?
Kami naman po sa gobyerno, 24/7 kami nagtatrabaho para matapos po ang mga proyekto ng Build program. So asahan nyo po, sunod-sunod po ang delivery ng mga projects, giginhawa po ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan, ang buhay ninyo. So, expect major improvements sa lahat po, sa traffic, sa baha. And ito po ang commitment namin sa inyong lahat.
UNLAD Pilipinas.